Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ready, Set, Replay, the ultimate video game replay podcast. I'm Daniel, joined as always by my best friend, Skyler.
What's up?
And this week, we're talking about Icewind Dale, coming straight to you from Black Isle Studios. But Skyler, of course, as you know, before we can talk about the Dale of Icewind, we gotta go back.
Going back.
Whoa. Hey guys, it's June 29th of the year 2000. My tips are frosted and my boots are mooning, and it's the day after Diablo 2 came out.
Damn, what a busy week.
Yeah, we skipped ahead to do the Putt games because we needed more time to finish this, but this is immediately after Diablo 2. So we had like 3 games that came out on back-to-back days, which is insane. Especially because I feel like in modern gaming, games pretty much always come out on the same day. For a long time, it was games would just always launch on either Tuesday or Thursday. So it's weird to see so many across different days back to back like this. But here we are. In the world of music, we have this. Number 1 is, as a reminder, number 1 is Be With You by Enrique Iglesias. Number 2 is Try Again from Aaliyah. Number 3 is I Turn to You, Christina Aguilera. Number 4 is I Wanna Know by Joe. And number 5 is The Real Slim Shady by Eminem. And speaking of Eminem, he's made the news today.
Oh, what's old Marshall done this time?
He's getting sued by his mom.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
His mom is suing him for $10 million because she believes that he has defamed her in one of his songs, which, to be fair, he kind of has. The lyrics in question are, 99% of my life I was lied to. I just found out my mom does more dope than I do. I told her I'd grow up to be a famous rapper, make a record about doing drugs, and name it after her. So basically he's just saying my mom lied to me and did a lot of drugs, which, here's the thing, was true. They had a difficult life together. They moved around a lot. She was a single mom. They lived first in Missouri, shout out, and then moved to Detroit, shout out. And during that time, nobody knew that she had Munchausen syndrome, which is one where you sort of like invent a disease for your child so that they need
to care for them.
Yeah. Hers was not as severe as some of the crazy stories that you've heard. Basically, she was just giving him some medicine that he didn't need, but it wasn't like killing him or anything like some of the other ones that we've heard about over the course of time. So it wasn't quite that bad, but she had a lot of issues going on that we didn't know. We wouldn't find out until after this lawsuit that she was going through mental health issues. But regardless of that, it was surely a very troubling upbringing for good old Marshall. And he, as you would expect from Eminem, did not back down at all during this lawsuit. While it was going on, actively while he was being sued for defaming her, he put out multiple other tracks defaming her.
Yeah. Of course. The most famous one that I can think of is in Without Me. The line, I just settled all my lawsuits, fuck you, Debbie.
Yeah. That one's obviously that one is after the lawsuit, but yes.
Yeah, it'll be out.
So not to be outdone, his mom,
she dropped the track too?
She did.
Oh my god, I didn't actually know that.
She teamed up with a rap group called IDX to put out a really cringe song called Dear Marshall, which, to her credit, was not entirely mean. It was mostly like, hey, I still love you, but I don't know why you're treating me like this. Like very like guilt trippy mom shit. Not a good song, obviously.
No,
but
what a legend.
At least to her credit, she was like, I still want to repair our relationship. I still love you. Like those were the lyrics in it. Whether she believed it or not is up to debate, I guess. But she wasn't being horrifically terrible. This lawsuit went on for about 2 years, and the end result of it is that she won.
Yeah.
So she won the lawsuit, but instead of getting the $10 million, she only got $2,500 or $25,000. Sorry.
Ooh,
of which she did have to pay the majority to her lawyer. So she didn't really barely get anything out of it. And then as soon as it was done, he did continue talking shit about, after losing a lawsuit about defamation, immediately continued talking shit about his mom, which is very funny. But later in life, we end on a happy note. Later in life, when he had kids of his own and it became known about her mental illnesses and all these things, he did put out a track called Headlights that was very much an apology song. And it was like, hey, I don't forgive you for what you did, but I'm sorry for how I treated you, which evidently repaired their relationship to a point where now they are able to speak, although it's their relationship is very distant. Like, even in that song, he's like, I'll always love you because you're my mom, but I'm probably going to love you from a distance. I don't know if that, like, how that's happened. Their relationship since then has been very private, which is probably how it should be given all the shit going on between them.
Well, she passed away in December 2024.
Yeah, she's no longer with us, but I do hope that they came to a warm conclusion on that one. And I am glad that it came to, something other than, and they were never friends again. And I do think one of the positive things that also came out of this is that Eminem is a really good dad.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's heard anything about like how he is, but when his daughter Haley was a kid, like young, there's a famous story from, I want to say Dr. Dre. I think that's right. Where he was like trying to get Eminem to go on a tour with him. He was like, hey man, like they're going to pay us like so much money and it's just going to be you and me and like one other guy and it's going to be great. And Eminem was like, I don't want to come back and Haley be grown up. Like, I don't want to miss this. And then the next thing that Dre says in that story is like, and then before I knew it, I was at Haley's wedding.
Damn.
Yeah. And he's like, and apparently he went up to Eminem and he was like, you were right. And did you remember when you said that? Because I'm glad that you made the choice that you made.
That's crazy.
So, shout out Eminem, a Detroit Lions fan and therefore a good man.
Yeah.
I will also say, I found a loophole around the sort of a loophole around the Billboard music thing being a subscription now.
Oh,
is I got the subscription, but it's all historical data. It's not going to change. So I just went ahead and I wrote down every week of music and through 2004 and canceled the subscription.
Wow.
So until 2005, fuck you, Billboard.
Wow, that's crazy. You fools. You thought you could paywall history?
You thought I couldn't open an Excel spreadsheet? That's my whole job, fuckers.
History is for all of us. We're in history right now. We time traveled here to tell you to go f*** yourself.
In the world of movies, just as a response, as a reminder, because I don't think we talked about this in the Putt Putt video. Number 1 is The Patriot from Sony Pictures. Number 2 is Me, Myself, and Irene from 20th Century Fox. Gone in 60 Seconds is number 3 from Disney. Big Mama's House, number 4, 20th Century Fox. And Mission Impossible 2, right at the bottom, number 5 from Paramount. A lot of just real winners in that category. We're killing it in the movies in June.
Those are all movies. I can say that for sure.
They sure are films. One other thing did happen that we should talk about is on this day, I see clearly,
there it is.
Sony has acquired a studio. They acquired Verant Interactive, which most people will now know as Daybreak Games. This is going to sound weird. They're an MMO studio. I don't think anyone has ever associated Sony with MMOs before, but it turns out they owned this studio for quite some time. They owned them from 2000 to 2015. So 15 years. They didn't make a ton of games themselves. They did a lot of expansions and stuff for like EverQuest. They did Star Wars Galaxies. There was a bunch of MMOs that they helped make or that they took over after other people didn't want to continue working on them and then continued supporting them. It's a very weird thing. They did end up getting sold off. They still exist. They're still around. They're still doing exactly that. But they did get sold by PlayStation, by Sony, in 2015, during the beginning of the PS4 generation, because they were still, and this is their own words, not mine, they were still trying to recoup some of the losses that happened during the PS3 generation, because the PS3 generation was notoriously very bad for PlayStation. They did end up selling a ton of units by the end, but just over that period, it wasn't very good, and they had that big PSN outage, which lost them tons of money from lawsuits, if nothing else. So they were trying to recoup a little bit extra money, and they ended up selling them off to an investment fund that then later sold them off to a different group. But I guess at the end of the day, they still exist. They're still doing exactly the same thing that they were doing back then, which is sort of taking in orphan MMOs and continuing to support them until the player base doesn't want it anymore. So kind of a cool thing. But Skylar, that's everything. And boy, am I glad to be done with the month of June. The next game that we're going to be talking about is like a month from now. We're going to have a lot more interesting stuff to talk about. So
Ooh,
really,
cool.
really
Cool,
looking
cool,
forward to
cool.
that. But before we can do that, we do have to talk about Icewind Dale. This is a D&D CRPG or computer RPG made by
Mhm.
Black Isle Entertainment, the studio that is now known as Obsidian.
Wow.
This is hot off the back of them making the Fallout 1 and 2. So they've just invented the Fallout franchise
Cool.
and a different game called Planescape Torment. This game takes place in the D&D setting of Icewind Dale, which is the frozen north of the Forgotten Realms. It is one of the more famous D&D settings because it is the setting of the most famous D&D novels, which are the Drist books, and there's a lot of references to him in this game, so we'll probably be talking about him again later. Skylar, how did you feel? Top level thoughts about Icewind Dale?
Uh, Overwhelmed,
That's a good word for it.
constantly in fear of my life and my save file, angry. Yeah, those are the top level ones.
The top level ones for sure. Yeah, it's a rough game. And I don't mean it's
Yeah.
necessarily bad or badly made at least, but boy do they not give a shit if you have a fun time playing this game. This is a grueling experience. It is
Yeah.
so like every maybe not every fight, but certainly at the beginning of the game, every fight is just like, why is this the way it is? Why are we doing this? Why does the game function in the way that it does? Like I remember very specifically in the first fight, the first thing that I fought,
Yeah.
well, the first real fight, because there's two little smaller ones right at the beginning, like side quest shit, where I like went into a basement and fought some beetles, and then I killed like a wolf, and it's whatever. Those ones didn't really even acknowledge like what was happening, didn't know. But you get into a fight pretty early on where some goblins are like chasing this kid who they
Yep.
like stole his fish or some shit. It doesn't matter.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And I remember very specifically the entire time during that fight being like, okay, how do I do literally anything? How do I
Uh-huh.
attack? How do I cast a spell? Like, no idea. Like every aspect of this game, they don't tell you a single fucking thing about how to do it. Like you have to either read what I assume is the manual that came with the game when you bought it in the year 2000, or just know from I guess having played either Planescape Torment or Baldur's Gate, because those are both games that are in the same engine that came out before this.
It
So maybe
had
you
to have
just
been.
knew from that, but
It
it's
had to have been a manual in the
it
in
had to have
the
been
in the packaging. It
because it
had to
is
have been.
impenetrable. Like it was not until truly like halfway through the game where I discovered how to make my caster, my mage,
Uh-huh.
even remotely useful.
Right.
He was a dead fucking wait until like Act 4
Yeah.
because
So
it's just so rough.
when I booted up the game, I don't have a heck of a lot of experience in games such as this. Although I do have, and so do you, a heck of a lot of experience in Dungeons and Dragons in general. We've played the tabletop many times. We've each DM'd the tabletop many times. We know the rules, we know the spells, we get it, right? So it's
Right.
just like, all right, how hard could it be? That first fight with the goblins, I booted up the game and I first made the unwise decision to go with the pre-generated characters because it said like this will last you through the game. Trust us, this will work.
Trust me, guy.
And I don't even necessarily believe that it wouldn't have worked. I just ended up deciding it's like, well, no, we're doing this for content. I should put a little bit more work into it and make my own characters. Luckily, I made this decision after that first goblin encounter killed half the party. The first goblin encounter
Right.
killed half my guys. And I was like, oh. And
A party of 6
6 people.
against
They're all
maybe 10 goblins.
They're all done. They're all done. So it was after that that I built my party from the ground up, which by the way this silly little game does its save files. Let me talk about this for a second.
Okay.
Uh so if you're in a video game and you want to look at your previous save files, you hit load game, right? I do. That's what I do. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's what I would do to look at my save files. You hit load game and it says, "Hey, just so you know, You're about to look at your load games. Is that cool? That's not word for word what it says, but that's more or less what it says. It's like, yeah, I want to look at my load games. What it doesn't tell you is it's taken you out of your current game. Something that's never happened to me before. Maybe it's my lack of knowledge of this era of PC gaming.
Right.
Although I have played Fallout 1 and 2, so I don't remember that ever happening. But so yeah, so at one point I was like, all right, load game. Where'd all my characters go?
Right.
Because everything that I just painstakingly like built these characters over like 30 minutes, it seemed, maybe they were gone because I was fortunate enough to hit load game at one point without saving first.
And how dare you?
Also, a cheeky little thing that happened later was at a certain point, I don't know if this is me, I don't know if this is user error, but quick save stopped working. I don't know if it was like only storing like 5 quick saves at a time and then saying, now fuck you, pal, you're done.
Yeah, I don't know. I
But
didn't use the quick save, to be honest.
but I can tell you for a fact that I was quick saving a bunch, and then upon hitting load, there were no quick saves.
Oh, good.
So that sent me back some time later. Yeah, I don't even know where this rant was taking me, other than
The save file system was bad.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. It's, oh man, I guess we should start with like the combat of it, because I think the combat is clearly it is the focal point of this game. The story of it is pretty thin. We can talk about that later, but the combat is like it's the whole game, and I also think it's quite bad. It's
Yeah.
They use a real time with pause way to do like combat mechanic, which means it's happening all in real time. You can hit the space bar to pause it and tell everyone to do their moves. The problem is, in every good version of that gameplay mechanic that I've ever heard of, you can stack up multiple moves and you can be like, cast this on that, then do this, and then do this. Every other game that I know that has real time with pause, you can do that. This one doesn't do that. And it also, I feel, is not a good representation of D&D gameplay, because obviously D&D is turn-based. And B, doesn't work. It just doesn't work. When you have to control a team of 6 by yourself, because the AI is very bad for controlling your companions.
Oh my god.
Doing really anything other than highlighting all 6 of your characters and saying, attack this guy, is a pain in the ass. It's absolutely terrible.
There is a select all button,
yes, which is
the
nice.
bottom right, but it's so out of the way.
Sure. Any character who had some interesting mechanical thing to do, a caster, a cleric, a paladin, whatever, any of my characters that had those abilities, I couldn't be fucked to use those powers most of the game, because I was just like, it is such a pain in the ass to make the game do the things that this class is meant to do. And also, on the topic of my casters being useless, there's no cantrips in this game.
Right. Yeah.
So my caster, 90% of the time, is using a fucking slingshot.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. See, where I really started to learn to play the game was I had to delve into each of my party members' AI scripts. Right. You can set their AI scripts to be. I think their default is just like, oh, we'll attack stuff if it gets closer, something, whatever. But you can set each one separately to be like, I want my fighter to run up and attack, and I want this person to stay ranged, and I want this person is a spellcaster, so they do that. If you set your spellcaster to do anything with their script, they're gonna waste all their spell slots.
All of them. Or they're gonna kill your team, because every useful attacking spell is an area effect spell, and they are fucking terrible about where they're gonna pick to use the attack. So if you cast a fireball, night, buddy, you better hope that none of your softies are anywhere near that, or they're gonna die. You're just down a druid. It's ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous. And I don't know. So this game is based on 2nd edition AD&D, which is technically the 3rd edition of Dungeons and Dragons. It's complicated. Basically, 0 edition, as some people call it, is original D&D, and then there's AD&D, Advanced D&D. This is 2nd edition, Advanced D&D. It is, in a lot of ways, the exact polar opposite of all D&D that I've ever played. I've started playing D&D in 3.5, which is a great edition, and then 4, which I played a lot of 4. People don't like it. I thought it was fine. 5 is, I think, probably the best way to play D&D. that
Most
exists.
accessible way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the most understandable. It's easy to get into. You just do the thing. It makes sense. Everything about it makes sense. Nothing about second edition makes sense to me. Not a single thing. And I tried looking up the rule set for it, but it's just so there's so many things about trying to make a faithful second edition D&D game that makes it so that your video game is not going to be fun to play. Like, just like random things, right? Like all of the races only have certain classes that they can play as. That's not a thing in 4th or 5th edition. 4th and 5th edition, you can do whatever you want. You can have a half-orc cleric, which is not a thing that you can do here. So you're like, oh, okay, well, I want my party to be kind of diverse. I'll make a dwarf character. Oh, he can't play any of the classes that I want him to play. Guess I'll make another human. Oops.
Yep.
So my team was like 4 humans.
Or, also a thing that isn't around nowadays, if you pick an elf to be on your party like I did, they can't be revived.
They can be reincarnated or whatever.
There's a difference between, what is it? There's revive and there's raise dead. Right?
Something like that.
And
Elves can
guess
only...
what? If you want the elf to come back, it's the more expensive one.
And it gets even more expensive the higher level they are. So the further you get into the game, it's just like, get fucked, buddy. And you're going to lose characters, which I didn't even bother going and paying to revive them or having a cleric with the spells on it. I would just quick load. I wasn't gonna bother with it. It wasn't worth my time or my money.
Yeah.
Because it's such a pain in the ass. Because in this game, despite the fact that this is not the case in second edition AD&D, I looked this up. There is no death saving throws. There are death saving throws, but it's not what you think. It's not I go down and then I roll to see whether or not I die, like how it is in current D&D, where it's like you have 3 death saving throws and you need to pass 3 before you fail 3, right? Or your character dies. Which is how modern D&D games like Baldur's Gate 3, that's not a fair... We're going to probably compare Baldur's Gate 3 to this. It's not a fair comparison because it's 20 years later and we have a lot more knowledge and it's a different edition of D&D. But it's going to happen, so I apologize in advance. In this game, when you hit 0 hit points, you just die. Yep. The death saving throw means that... So when you level up, it'll be your death saving throw went up by 1. That'll be one of the things it says. What that means is that there are certain spells that can put the death effect on you, which means you just die. And so it's a save against that kind of spell. It has nothing to do with whether or not your character dies when they hit 0 HP.
Well, gee, thanks.
Yeah. And that's not the case in second edition D&D. From what I saw online when I was trying to look this up, I apologize if this is wrong. If so, Google fucked me. But it's actually harder to die in second edition D&D, I think, than in current D&D. In second edition, when you go down, you hit 0 hit points. The DM rolls a die, and if it's 19 or 20, you die. Any other thing, you're safe. 19 or 20 at any point, you die. Until someone gets you up or heals you or does whatever.
Okay, so just every time on your turn, the dice is rolled.
Yeah. But in this game, you just die. You just die. So you can either have a cleric that has raised dead, or whatever the bigger one is if you have an elf.
Yeah.
Or you can run your ass back to the nearest town and pay a priest like $5,000 to raise one of your characters.
Yep.
Who said that was fun? Who looked at the rules that said it's hard to die and said, you know what would be good? What if you died all the time forever?
And it would be one thing if, like, the party makeup wasn't the only reason you can get through the levels.
Right. You
but
if need certain classes.
If you lose the certain character, and I know that's not truly the case because there's people that are like going through what's the extreme fuck you difficulty on the enhanced edition? Heart of something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. People go through that with one character. You're very cool, sir.
I don't know how you do that. Good for you. Don't
genuinely impressive. But no, I'm not. No. I need my cleric. I need my thief. I need my fighter. I need my spellcaster.
Yeah, even though in this game they're useless for a long time.
Well, until you get to some goddamn ice trolls.
Yeah, and then you need fire.
That you need fire. Which I think there's like a way to... I don't know if you enchant a sword or find an enchanted sword that has fire. Yeah. I looked up a video and a guy had a fire sword and I was like, how do I do that? And I didn't. So I just ended up using fire spells over and over and over again.
That's what I did too. I know of 2 ways that you can get a fire sword. So you can buy the Troll Slayer, which is a sword that you can buy in Kuldahar, which has fire attacks. It's just a longsword. I didn't end up buying it because at the point that I bought it, I thought I was done with trolls. I wasn't, but I thought at that time I was.
Hmm.
Or in the fuck you dungeon, the Dragon's Eye that sucks ass. I hate that one, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
That's the worst dungeon
yeah.
in the game, worst part of the game. Bookmark that. We're coming back to it. There's three heroes or like characters that you find trapped in a room, and one of them has a flaming longsword. And if he dies or you kill him, you can just take it.
Oh, okay.
So, and that didn't happen for me. So I just replaced all of my spells on my mage with like burning
Yeah.
hands and fireball.
How many spellcasters did you have?
Are we counting like priest spellcasters or just caster casters?
Uh, I would say priest slash cleric slash paladin is like a healer caster,
Yeah,
but like a DPS
one. I had
caster.
one caster.
One.
So I
Okay.
mean, I can go through my team if you'd like.
Let's go through our teams. Let's go
Okay.
through our teams.
So I'll say mine first because so that it'll look like you stole one of my character names and not the other way around.
Well, joke's on
Um,
you. Once I read out my names, they'll know. The listeners will know I didn't steal shit from you.
so I stole it from something else, something much classier. So I had my main character was a human archer, a ranger archer, like subclass, I guess, named Will, who I named after a D&D character that I played in a game that you campaigned or that you
Mm-hmm.
DM'd, who
Mm-hmm.
that character was named after the main character from The Ranger's Apprentice. That's why that name exists. And he was the fucking goat. That was my MVP. When I looked at his stats, he had like 50% of all the kills. At the end of the game, 50%. That motherfucker was on lock. I love that dude. Which is crazy because
Okay.
when I looked up a thing that was like, this is the team that you should build, because I needed to know at a certain point like
Yeah,
what I was supposed to do. They're like, don't build a ranger, they suck. And I was like, he's my best guy.
that is crazy.
He's the goat. So I had him, loved him. Then I had a half orc fighter who was a really good tank. He was awesome. By the end of the game, him and Will. Honestly, I feel like I probably could have done the game with just the two of them because everyone else at a certain point was just not that useful, and except for in very specific situations. His name was Throck because I was like, fuck it, he's an orc. Then I had Orim, a human paladin. He was not a good tank, but he was okay in a pinch, and he had some useful situational spells, so he was okay. Orim is named after the main character from the Critical Hit, not Critical Role D&D podcast. Then I had Shayera, who was an elf druid, who was a shapeshifter, so she spent the whole game as a werewolf, which was pretty cool. She wasn't very good until at one point she ended up getting a thing where she could turn into a greater werewolf instead of a werewolf, and at that point her armor class was -15, which is actually insane.
Hmm.
So she got really good at the end. She couldn't really do any damage, but she wasn't taking much either, so I was okay with it. Shira, of course, being Hawkgirl. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Then I had Avacyn, the human. She was a human priest of Helm. She was my primary healer, as much as a primary healer can exist in this game, because I feel like healing just takes so fucking long, and it's just not fun. If I heard Mortis, Calio, whatever the hell it is, one more time, I was going to kill a man,
Oh,
and that man was me.
yeah.
I was going to kill myself. Avacyn named after, of course, the angel from Magic the Gathering. And then I had Drake, also named after a D&D character that I played in a campaign that you DM'd, who was my half-elf mage, who was useless for half the game. And then at the end, the second half, it was like, he's my fire guy, and that's it.
Yeah.
Or he's like,
Yeah,
or he's like, hey, they've decided to throw 100 Umber Hulks at me in this hallway. I'm going to cast 3 fireballs. Those were the two situations where Drake didn't suck.
All right. There you go. All right. So my party leader was a human fighter named Will.
Stolen
So
valor.
we both had a Will on our team. He was rocking a long sword and a shield. In slot number 2, we had Philip. He's the half orc. I don't remember if it was cleric or paladin. I think cleric. Probably it was a priest of Tyr.
Okay.
Is the subclass.
I think that would be a cleric then.
Yeah. So he was my healer. He was also a shield boy, but he got a morning star instead. My third slot was my halfling fighter thief combo. That was Carlton.
Pretty good. You son of a
Ashley
bitch.
was my half elf bard.
Uh-huh.
She switched between longbow, but I also had her with a morning star if she needed to go up close and personal, or if she ran out of arrows, which happened once or twice. Then Jeffrey was my human mage. Jeffrey's the mage, and we had Hillary. She was the elf sorcerer.
Yeah. Y'all thought it was
So
all fun and games until DJ Jazzy Jeff showed up at the end with a big crystal.
And I considered having Vivian, but there were two different Vivians, so I was like, which one do I choose? It's just that's
So I didn't have a thief, which was a problem sometimes. Eventually you get, so you need a thief really just for traps. That's the only thing I could think of where I was like, oh, it would have been
well,
nice to have one here.
well. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I had a thief, and the amount of times I still walked into traps.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't help that much, I guess. But
Well, it would if you're not an idiot, probably.
being able to detect and disarm traps would have been really nice. Also, pick locks. Although at a certain point, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna have 3 knock spells on Drake on my mage, and we're just gonna call
Sure.
it a win on that front and just be done with it.
Obviously, it's good to pick locks when it comes to like chests or certain doors. Although every time that I ever wanted to pick a lock, it was a story important lock that I couldn't pick.
That's
So
very funny. I didn't try to. I don't think I ever tried to use knock on a door that was storyline locked. So I don't know if that would
there
have worked.
there are
Probably not.
certain. I mean, I would assume that you ran into at least one or two situations like I did, where you're like going through a dungeon and then you get to a door and then the door won't open. It's just like, oh, okay, well, it's locked. Well, can I pick it? And then you get the little pop up that says like, this lock is a special mechanism that cannot be picked or warded by magic, and
Yeah.
so that means knock won't work on it either.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't. So I never tried that. So I didn't see that pop up. But yeah, no,
Um,
that's just the DM saying, "Go get the
yeah,
key, loser."
go get the key. And so I'm like, where do I? So I go back through the dungeon where, and this happened like 3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 different dungeons.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm like, where the fuck is the key? And then so I looked up, not a guide, but a guy playing it, a let's play. I don't remember
Mhm.
who it was, or else I would thank him for all the help that he gave me. Sorry, sir, but he had a very long playthrough
Was it a single
because
video or was it broken up?
no, it was a series of like 60 some odd videos, and each one was like 30 minutes apiece. So I would end up having to like, no, I did that, skip through that. No, next episode did that, skip through that. He kind of took his sweet ass time, but no, still thankful for the help, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks, sir.
Um, but like, I kid you not, every time that I was stuck on a door, he would get to that spot and he'd be like, okay, what am I supposed to do here?
Where's the key?
I'm like, oh, so it's not just me. What the fuck?
Hey, how much did the gear system throw you off because of Thaco?
Oh, right, THACO, which stands for
2-hit armor class 0.
right.
So
Just kind of
that's
stopped
a
paying
system.
attention after a while.
That's a system that I'm glad is dead.
Uh-huh.
Because what it means is, in old D&D, you weren't trying to roll to beat a number. You wanted to be below the number most of the time that you were rolling. Like skill checks, if you had like a 18 or whatever in strength and you were making a skill check, you wanted to roll below that 18. That's how it worked. It wasn't there was a difficulty on this strength check and I have to beat that and I get a bonus to do so. It was
Sure.
I'm an 18 strength, so every strength check, anything below an 18 works.
So I can strength past anything up to 18. I guess that makes sense. In I don't yearn for it to come back,
No,
but I guess it makes sense.
it doesn't. It doesn't because it's like it's not. It's not. I can do anything. I can break anything that is requires less than an 18 strength check. It is for my character. Everything is an 18 strength check. It doesn't matter if it's knocking down a brick wall or arm wrestling a guy.
I
Every
see.
strength check, I have to get below this 18.
Yeah, that is stupid.
It's weird. It's very weird. Thaco is one of the like people, some old heads of the D&D space.
Oh, yeah,
The
like they
graybeards
would.
up on Mount Go Fuck Yourself. They will tell
Where
you
they belong.
where they belong. They will tell you that Thaco is an amazing property and we should bring it back and it's way better than the current armor class system we have. It's not. It's not. It's not. The way Thaco works is that every character, every monster, every everything has a Thaco score. It is unique to them and it is related to how good they are at hitting things. So it's like your Thaco will go up if you have a better weapon or you get a higher proficiency. Cool. Then every time you roll a die, you take whatever you rolled, you add your bonuses to it, and then you add the AC of the opponent to it, which is why a lower AC is better, because you don't want to help them out. Like the worst armor class is a 10, and you're just adding 10 to whatever they roll. And then if your roll that you got ends up being whatever your THAC0 is or higher, then you hit them.
Yeah.
It's just like in modern D&D, you roll a die, you add your bonuses. If it's higher than their armor class, you hit. It's so much easier. It's so much easier. And then you can tell the DM what you rolled, what the number is. Now, when you roll a die, you don't know what that dragon's AC is. So you have to say, I rolled this and I add my bonus, it's this. And then the DM now has to do the math of like adding in whatever that AC is and then telling you whether or not it hits. So now we're both doing math instead of just taking two numbers and adding them and being like, is it bigger? I don't know why we ever made this decision.
Overcomplicated things. I don't know.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I understand that it's not the game's fault, like Icewind Dale's fault or Black Isle's fault, that that's the way that D&D worked in 2000. But also,
Yeah.
It's just super weird. I'm really, really not a fan of it. So I'm already struggling with all of these things, right?
Yeah.
Of the rule set being weird and backwards and complicated and way more than it needs to be. And then on top of that, they have intentionally made this game seemingly as hard as humanly possible in a way that is not fun. It's not like a Dark Souls thing where you're like, oh, cool, now I get to test my skill against the whatever. No, it just feels like bullshit. It just feels like you're playing a D&D game and the DM is a guy who's just caught you having sex with his girlfriend. That's what this game feels like an hour ago. And he's like, okay, well, let's go do Tomb of Horrors, bitch. Like, that's what this feels like.
At the end of the day, I can complain about the jankness or the system or the menus, right? But really, my biggest disappointment with this game, coming at it from a D&D standpoint, and no, I don't expect it to be like Baldur's Gate 3, which I'm not even holding it to that standard because I haven't even played Baldur's Gate 3.
Exactly.
So when you go adventuring in a D&D setting, you want it to be an adventure with a story you at the very least give a shit about. And for me, this entire game was, hey, welcome, you want to go on this expedition? Oh, we all died. Well, there's some evil over there. You want to go take care of the evil? Just keep going, and there's gonna keep being more evil, and you keep fighting, and then, hey, there's a big evil. Now I guess you could find that. I didn't care. The story is like
non-existent.
I didn't care about anything I was doing. It was just, I have to keep fighting things until the game is over.
It's just so annoying, the story, because it's very boilerplate. Like, it very barely exists, which is, I think, it has to be intentional, because from what I understand, the Baldur's Gate games give you a lot more open-endedness, a lot more choice, a lot more, like, plot. Whereas this is, you wake up in East Haven, they're like, there's problems in Kuldahar, we're going to do some prologue shit here, and then we're going to get in a group and go to Kuldahar and fix the problem. You go over there, and you meet this guy who has the same voice as the guy who you just talked to in East Haven, which is fucking crazy. And then he's like, we've got this, nature's acting crazy. Like, all the cold is encroaching on the tree of Kuldahar, which keeps us all warm so they don't freeze to death in Icewind Dale. And then the next 20 hours of the game are, I go to a dungeon and I fight a guy and he goes, that wasn't me, I didn't do that. And then I go to another dungeon and I fight a guy and he goes, that's not me, that's the other guy. And then you go to a dungeon and it happens like 4 times in a row. And it's like, at what point during this game am I going to make any progress in the plot that I signed up for? When's that going to start happening? And the answer is, it doesn't. You're right. You keep doing this, and at some point you fight one lady, a snake lady, who I hate, and we'll talk about it, because that dungeon sucks ass, and I will talk about that dungeon. I promise. Keep that bookmarked. And she's like, it's not me, I have a big enemy. And then you go and you fight that guy, and he's the final boss of the game. And the credits rolled, and I was fucking pissed with how the credits went. That's another thing we should talk about. and then I sat back and I went, did I fix the problem? Is Kuldahar, like, nature problem fixed? Because it doesn't seem like the guy who I just killed had anything to do with that. Because no character at any point was like, this guy Poklin or whatever his demon name was. At no point does anyone say, to at least that I saw, maybe I missed it. At a certain point, I did get a little bored. So maybe it's possible. But at no point that I saw did someone go, he's doing this and that's causing the weird shit with nature. To my knowledge, all he was doing was building up an army to go fuck up East Haven for some reason.
Right. Who was the guy? What was the name of the guy, rather?
Which
that was impersonating the guy in Kaldahar?
So there was the druid there was named Arendelle, and then he
Right.
got killed at some
Yes.
point and replaced by, I believe, Poklin, who is actually the demon like Belafir or some shit.
Sure.
That's also not made clear, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Because we go and we get, what was it called? We get a MacGuffin.
The Heartstone gem.
Yeah, the Heartstone gem, of course. How could I forget?
How
And
could
we
you?
take it to Jim Cummings in the tent, but Jim Cummings is dead.
He has died.
And then there's,
And he says, take it to the other place and they'll do the thing I was going to do.
there's Paku Paku. Did he not take the Heartstone? Oh no, he didn't.
No, he sends
'Cause
you
we
off
have
to the
take it
fucking
to the lich.
ghost,
We
the
have to take
elf
it to the
ghost
lich
tower.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. So no, I take it back. I thought he took the gem, and then we got it back, but I had misremembered. So no, I don't know what killing him accomplishes.
Nothing. No, he's not. He has, I don't think, anything to do with the problem we set out to fix. We set out to fix one problem, didn't fix it, and then just killed some other guy who, to be fair, was evil. Mm-hmm. So we did something good. But
Yeah,
Coldheart, to my knowledge, is still freezing.
Evil.
So I don't know that we fixed the problem. I need to talk about this fucking dungeon. I need to talk about this fucking dungeon.
Go off, King. Just tear into it.
So the opening part of the game is really frustrating because you're under leveled, and also leveling up feels like it does nothing. Like you don't really get like new spells or new abilities. It's just, oh, my hit points went up a little bit and my saving throws went up a little bit. And sometimes you get new spell slots that you can put in spells that you already have. Great, cool. I don't like that at all, but fine. At least that's something, I guess. But you level up for a while, and then you get to this dungeon called Dragon's Eye. And it's where you get that Heartstone gem that you're then going to take back to a guy who can't do anything with it. So you've just wasted another entire dungeon. And it is the most frustrating thing I have experienced in a video game in several years. I genuinely almost, like, I was like, am I going to finish this fucking game? Like, I was genuinely like, am I, and not even like, can I muscle through it? Do I have the patience to bother?
Right.
Or am I going to just text Skyler and say, we're skipping it?
No, I was already past it at this point.
And that was genuinely the only reason that I finished it. So, okay. It starts out bad, and it only gets worse. The first couple levels are full of lizard men and spiders. Some of the spiders explode and do damage to everything around them.
Yeah.
And the other ones poison you.
Yeah.
And poison doesn't seemingly wear off. You have to either use a cure poison or an antidote potion. And they're like, some of them are around, but it's just fucking annoying. And it becomes a thing where every enemy in this entire dungeon, and then kind of the rest of the game, has some ability that will either poison you, or disease you, or stun you, or confuse you. There are 500 different ways that this game will take control of your characters away from you. Mm-hmm. The number of hold person spells cast in this dungeon in particular are through the fucking roof. It is absurd. We have played D&D for 15 years or so.
Yeah,
you?
Yeah.
Have you even seen a fucking hold person spell cast? Because I can't think of a time.
By an NPC?
By anybody.
I've had a friend of ours cast hold person on an enemy exactly one time.
When I tell you, in this dungeon, at multiple occasions, my entire fucking party had hold person cast on them by different people. I'm not exaggerating.
That sounds right. That sounds accurate.
This dungeon has spiders that poison you, creatures that disease you, sword spiders that just like hit you for a ton of damage. Then there's wraith spiders that are like phase spiders and they teleport around, and so you can't really hit them very well. There's trolls that can only be killed with fire. Every mage has hold person. There's beetles that explode. There's skeletons that explode. And this is just the first couple levels. We're not even at the bad part of the dungeon yet. You hit like level 4, and they're like, "Welcome to hell, motherfucker." And just you kill this one mage who's like in a side room to the back, like almost at the end of that floor, and then you head towards a little doorway, and there's just 500 traps on the way to that door, and you're like, "That's crazy." I'm glad that this won't be the case for the entire rest of the dungeon. Here we go, motherfucker. The next floor below that is a bunch of people who are pretending to be good, but then they're actually Yuan-Ti. Cool.
Yeah.
It's an interesting plot point, I guess. It didn't work for me because my character, one of the character that I chose to talk to them with was a paladin. And so the first bullet point when I walked in was, "Hey, are you a fucking snake?"
Oh, see, that's interesting. This, I want to jump in here for a second about this little interesting plot point that you mentioned. Of you get to this place and they're like, "Welcome. We're good people. We can heal you and you can rest here." I was like, "Okay, that's weird." Now, granted, some of this can be put on me, I'm sure, because if I had been paying close enough attention, it's weird these guys are here. It's odd that this little temple of nice people are just here in the middle of this shit ass suck ass dungeon. So if I was in the mood of role playing, I might be able to ask, why are they here? But you know why I wasn't in the mood of role playing? Because nothing about this game made me role play ever once up to this point.
Yeah.
And so when I was like, okay, I've dead ended here, what can I do? I even was like, am I supposed to go through these doors? No, these doors are locked. I have my thief lockpick it. They attack me. Oh, okay. So I reloaded my save. I'm like, well, that's clearly not right. Then I looked the guide that I mentioned, the guy, the let's player, whatever he was, and he got to the same thing. He was like, "What do we do? Interesting. Oh, well, let's just kill them." And I was like, "Well, if he doesn't care, why should I?" And then you get to the next room, and there's like snake cult bullshit, sacrifice nonsense. And I'm like, "Oh no! So I was just supposed to fucking kill them from the get go."
Yeah. So there's apparently there's a bunch of different ways that you can figure out that they're snake people. Like if you walk around and click on some of the stuff, it'll be like, "Oh, hey, this is evil. This is evil, and that's a snake." But my character, because he was a paladin, and for no other reason, because I looked up why he was able to do it. He could just be like, "Hey man, are you a snake?" And then that was the thing. But the problem is that didn't help me. Because as soon as you talk to him, he goes, "Yeah man, I'm a snake." And then he attacks you, and then 4,000 Yuan-Ti come from the farthest reach of the fucking dungeon. I don't know how they know where I'm at. I don't know how they know that there's a fight. I don't know how anything is happening in this entire game. But everyone in the tri-state fucking area of this dude who I just was like called out, this guy who I just subtweeted, blasted it out to the whole group chat, and now all of his aunties are coming, his cousins are coming. Everyone is coming for my ass, and they've all got poison, and they've all got hold person, and they've all got all this bullshit. I died in that front room of that area like 20 times.
His aunties, more like his you-aunties.
His you-aunties was coming from everywhere. The only reason I survived is because eventually I found those 3 guys I was talking about earlier trapped in a room, and then just let them do most of the work. But then, that's not even the bad part of the dungeon. The bad part of the dungeon is the final level, which I guess if there's going to be a part that's harder, it should be the last part. Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
That makes the most sense out of anything so far.
Makes sense, I guess. You go down to the bottom level, and a little girl who's voiced by Tara Strong pops up, and she goes, "Hey, could you leave?" And you go, "No, I'm here for the stone." And
I literally can't. I think I out loud said, "I wish, kid."
Buddy, I wish I could. Then you walk through this hallway that has more traps per square inch than there are oxygen atoms in the planet on Earth. Every fucking stone on this gravel parkway between me and the snake bitch I'm about to get my ass beat by is trapped. And so I'm going, and every so often there's a little branch off to the side of this. It's like conveniently sort of a snake-shaped pathway. It's like a windy, snaky thing. Sure.
Yeah.
Every time I get down to one of these hallways, I branch off and I do a thing in there. Most of the time, it doesn't matter. It feels like I'm wasting my time, as does most of the game. So I go, okay, hey, those heroes up on the last floor, they said that they would watch over me while I rested, so I could just go back and heal, and that'd be great. Mm-hmm. You know what happens when you go back and heal? Every trap in the hallway resets. Like there's that fucker from Dead
Mhm.
Rising who fixes all the windows. He's come and he's reset every trap in the fucking snake hallway.
That's a good inside bit. We need to play Dead Rising on here now.
And it is the most infuriating thing of all time, because sometimes you'll walk through and you don't trigger too many. You trigger like one or two, and then other times you walk through and for some reason your entire party walks through and doesn't trigger anything, and then your mage hits 3, or you're because it's not just normal traps. It's not, oh, I stepped on a thing, I got shot by a bolt, I got shot by an arrow, oh, I took a little bit of damage. No, 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 it's too easy. Let's do. Why would we do that? No, 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 no. No. You got poison traps. You got traps that use hold person on you. You've got traps that make you confused, so then you hit your own teammates. You got traps that confuse you and poison you, so now you're dying of poison and killing your friends. It's Snake Bitches Trap Emporium. All nothing oops, nothing but traps. For like a mile until you get to the end of this hallway.
Dear listeners, I apologize for what I'm about to say. If this is a little too visceral for you, this game is the video game equivalent of the same experience you would have slamming your penis in a car door.
This dungeon, at least, there's parts of this game that I do like. I promise. It's not this dungeon. I wanted to kill a man. I tweeted the guy who made this dungeon.
I saw it.
I messaged him on Blue Sky and I was like, "Why are you doing this to me? If not for those 3 heroes, I would not be filming this episode with you."
The channel would be over.
The channel would be over. I had to kill myself.
You want to write those heroes' names down?
I did, actually. It was Marchon of Waterdeep, Christina Knight, and Reese Coppersky, and they truly saved this playthrough.
Put them in the Hall of Fame.
Put them in the Hall of Fame.
Put them in the RSR Hall of Fame, because they're the real MVPs.
Then you finally get to the final boss of this dungeon. I promise I'm almost done. You get to the final boss. Her name is like Xenomai. She's a snake bitch. She's a Miralith demon. Mm-hmm. She's not even a Yuan-Ti. She's just a snake. Otherwise, she's a Terra Strong demon with her titties out. And she, after all the hell that you've been through, she's still the worst part.
Yeah. Believe it or not.
She's immune to weapon damage from anything less than a magic weapon with at least a +3, which meant I had one character that could hit her, and it was my ranger. She's constantly spawning people, and of course they're always tracking onto my softest people, which is my mage. So my mage and my cleric are running in circles around this whole dungeon, or this whole room, while my archer is just trying to pick her off. I finished this fight. Barely. I died her like 5 times. I texted you because you had beaten her before me. I said, "How the fuck did you do this? Did you cheat?
And my answer was unhelpful because I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember the gear that I had at this point. So maybe I had a little extra help in that department, but I also had the 2 spellcasters, and I was like, just try to kite her and run and blast her from afar.
The only thing that saved me on this is that I looked up the fact that she was immune to weapon damage to anything from less than a +3. Yeah. And so then I put on +2 arrows onto my archer, and I had like 80, and that was barely enough to finish her off. Because I had mostly killed her with magic, but then I was like, why? No one can hit her. It just keeps saying weapon is ineffective. Because the game won't tell you shit. That'd be too. No. Why would there's not a book that's like, hey, there's 2 weapons that you could have found up until this point that could make you potentially do damage to this boss. Are you having fun now? Finally beat her. Everyone's at like a health. Fortunately, I quick saved. Or I save after she dies. Because there's 6 chests in this room. And I'm like, oh good. This is my reward. For having gone through hell, this is my reward. The chests are trapped.
Veteran listeners, if you were with us when we played Legend of Dragoon, a good game. A really good game. Still game of the year for us right now. We'll probably be beat, but it's still number 1 as of right now for the year 2000. We had a complaint about beating a very difficult fuck you boss and then still having random encounters in the loot room. Why? Why would that happen? And now here we are, months later, the loot chests are trapped.
And not only are they trapped, they're also locked. I don't have a thief. So you don't get anything. I have 1 charge of knock on my mage, He casts it, opens the chest, it explodes, and he dies. I reload. Now I have to, and not only does he die, it explodes in such a way that there's these little crystals that bounce around the room, and they kill almost the entire rest of my party, as if just to say, fuck you.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
So then I have to move all of my people out of the room, send the mage in, unlock one thing, send the orc in to open the chest and explode, rest so I can get my knock spell back, do that 6 more times. Are we having fun yet? Hey, Black Eye, are we having fun yet? And then
I don't want to say whether or not I was having fun because it might give away my review score.
And then we go to leave. And we have to go back through the trap hallway.
Yeah.
And you might wonder, hey, every creature in this dungeon is dead. And I've already triggered every trap on the way here. No. See, because I had to rest in the boss room in order to unlock the things. Which means every trap in the hallway has reset.
Resets, yeah.
I counted. I triggered 24 traps on the way back to the door. I had to reload from the traps in an equal number of times that I had to reload because of the boss.
Huh. We're not having fun yet.
No.
That's the spoiler. We're not having fun yet. Man, people love this game.
I don't know who. Amy?
There's those you know what? I will always say, more power to you. If this is the kind of sadomasochism you're really into. But I at this point in the game, it wasn't gelling with me, if that's not obvious.
No. And this is like the halfway point of the game, roughly. And there's nothing in the rest of the game that comes even close to this level of frustration. There's some other parts that suck. There's like 1 or 2 boss fights that are bad.
I would say there's one exception for me, but it's because the game, I believe, is broken.
Yeah.
It was absolutely broken. Did that happen to you too? I warned you about it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know which boss fight.
The second to last boss fight of the game.
The one where he summons like 5 of himself? The Pomad?
Yeah.
The Pose Mad?
Yeah. So, how did that fight go for you?
You warned me about it before I walked in, so I looked up how it worked. And then I went in, and I still died twice. But he summons like 5 guys, and you have to 5 guys, burgers, and fries, and you have to find the one who's got the spicy Cajun fries because he's the real one.
Yes.
And every time you hit him, it's supposed to remove one of his guys, and it doesn't every time. It feels like you have to hit him like 5 or 6 times to get the first couple to disappear, and then eventually it worked. Is basically what it comes down to. The first 2 times, I guess I couldn't do it before the stupid fucking crystal guys killed my mage, because of course, in every fight in this game, even if my mage could have been useful, even if I could have cast spells on him, I couldn't, because he had to spend every single combat encounter just running, because every enemy in the game was just like laser locked onto Drake. They were like, Drake, I don't see a Josh, guess I'll kill him.
Well, they have, that's one of the AI scripts that you can put on your guys, so I assume that almost every enemy NPC has that as well, where they go for the spellcaster first.
Right. But is that fun?
No.
Are we having fun?
No.
So it didn't matter that my caster had all of this firepower, that he could cast Chain Lightning and he could throw Fireball 3 times in one rest. Most of the time. Sometimes it came up and it was nice to have that. But most of the time, he was just running for his life. Drake was a marathon runner, while everyone else did the damage. And occasionally he would be able to turn around and cast a spell or throw a rock out of his slingshot or whatever. But he didn't do much. He wasn't helping me a lot. And weirdly, my druid, despite being a werewolf, was similarly targeted. So she would get her ass beat a lot too. But as soon as she got that greater werewolf transformation where her THAC0 was negative 15, so she was removing 15 from whatever the opponent rolled, then she stopped taking damage outside of boss fights. In boss fights, she was still getting her shit rocked, but mostly from like poison, which I guess is a different save.
Yeah.
So that was cool. We had a lot of fun with that. Because, okay, I do want to say there are some cool things narratively in this game. There's some cool shit. I like the idea of Koldahar. I like the idea of this tree that is radiating enough warmth because of nature magic that it is able to like keep people alive around it, even though we're in the spine of the world, the coldest place on the
Yeah,
planet.
I like
That's a
that
cool
too.
idea. Do we do anything with it? No, of course not. But it's cool.
Does
It's a
that
cool idea.
does that even originate from this game though,
I
or is
believe it
that?
does because it's not.
Oh,
So
okay.
we are have tried twice now to do the Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden 5th edition D&D adventure module. Coldhard
Mm-hmm.
does not exist in that.
Mm.
I've also read the first book in the Drist saga, the Crystal Shard saga,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which does take place entirely in the Underdark. He gets into the Icewind Dale in the second book, but from what I gather, I don't believe Koldahar exists in those books either. So it may be unique to this game. I can't confirm that, but as far as I'm aware, it is. In the media that
Hey,
I have consumed, it is.
here's something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not in the module or in the book because we didn't save it. Maybe it's fucking gone.
The book takes place after this, so it's possible. I think both of them must, because 5th edition, if even takes place in the same timeline, would have to, you would assume, take place after whatever.
Rime of the Frost Maiden
No, it
with
must, because there's
because
there's a statue of
they
Drizzt.
reference.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that they reference the Frost Maiden in this.
they do reference the Frost Maiden in this twice, where they're like, it's fucking stupid, because they say, oh, she's messing with nature magic, she's making it cold, which is what she's doing in the Rime of the Frost Maiden book,
Yeah.
like adventure module. But then when you fight her like acolyte, she says, I'm not doing the thing that you're trying to stop. I'm not the one making the cold happen at the tree. So I'm like, okay, so who is? If not you, then
I'm
who?
from
That's literally your
I'm
whole
from
thing.
a different game. I'm from a different game. Don't fight me.
I'm from the future.
Okay,
Wait,
sure.
I'm from the future. AI is taking over. But yeah, it's weird. So I like that. I like the idea of that. There's also at one point later in the game, there's this frozen aquarium. I think that's a really cool idea. It's like a 10-minute thing, but I think it's really cool. I think that's a fun setting.
Uh, yeah, that is cool. Going along those lines, I will say that my positive out of this is the art of the maps are all genuinely pretty good.
Very pretty. Also the music. I think the soundtrack is
Yeah,
very good.
the music's good.
There are good
The
things
art
about
is
this game.
good. Ooh, am I out? Am I out of good things? Darn, that was fast.
Yeah.
Here's something silly. I don't know where else to bring this up. I guess I should have brought it up during character creation. When you make your characters,
Yeah.
don't do what I did. Make sure they all have different voices.
Oh, okay.
Don't just let the default voice ride, because then every time any character does anything, engages in combat, picks something up, sets off a trap, fucking anything, you're gonna hear the same voice lines over and over
Yeah.
and over and over and fucking over.
I don't know that all of my people had unique voice lines, but I think most of them did. I could see why that would be really annoying. There was my cleric, Avison. She had one voice line where she was like, I need to rest. I got to get out of these clothes. And I'm like, I did not
Oh,
give you it's not just like she says it in a way where it's like, oh, this armor's gross, like I
uh-huh.
want to take this off. She says it in like an intentionally sultry way. And I'm like, that's not the character I made. I didn't write that.
Oh,
That's not my guy.
yeah, yeah.
Not my Avison.
The bullshit where your entire party is like, we're done. We want to take a nap. We're just like, we're surrounded.
Yeah. Or like I thought you were going to say there aren't character models for some of the race and gender combinations. There's not a female dwarf character model. You will get the male dwarf with full beard.
It makes sure. Why not? It
It
makes
doesn't
sense.
exist.
I didn't try that, so I didn't even realize.
So in some ways not even a complete game. The thing that just really iced my cake on the ending of this game.
It iced your Dale. Go ahead.
It really iced my Dale. The final boss is a guy who you have interacted with for like 5 seconds. It's a demon. People have mentioned him a couple of times. You've talked to him once 5 minutes ago, and now we're doing this final boss fight. And that boss fight does suck. It's rough. It's really hard, actually. And then, all of a sudden, this character who has not mattered the entire game, named Evard, runs in,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like, remember me? I'm Johnson Smith from the temple. I'm going to do a heroic sacrifice to close the evil portal, just like my hero that I hated the last time you talked to me used to do. Sir, who are you? Where did you come from? Why is the solution to the problem of the game a character I don't know doing a thing I don't understand instead of me solving the problem. One of my
Well,
6 characters.
well, you see, Daniel, the problem with that is it's actually user error, because if you had immersed yourself in the world more, you would have known exactly who that was and why he did what he did and how he cares.
I talked to him as much as humanly possible. He's in East Haven, which you then cannot go to for the entire game. I
Yeah.
talked to him at the beginning, and he said, Jared, that's our hero, by the way. Our hero of time is named fucking Jared. I don't like the way he did it. Him sacrificing himself was stupid. And then his character arc is you don't see him for 40 hours, and then you come back and he changed his mind.
It's pretty good.
Because of something you didn't see, presumably.
That's growth. That's character growth.
And then you kill the demon. You kill the demon, Belfier, whose name you have just learned because he's not a character in the game that we played.
That's true.
And then it turns out, in the final cutscene, that the guy who's been doing the narration between acts was that guy who's not dead. He starts yelling at you and transforms into the demon, and he is basically like, "Hey, you just killed me, but as I'm telling the story, it's been 100 years and now I'm back." And you know what's funny?
Yeah.
I looked this character up.
Yeah.
He doesn't appear in any other content.
Well, good.
This is the last time we see this guy. He was the final boss of a DLC for Baldur's Gate 1, which came out before this.
Oh. Wait, but is it set before this?
No idea. Couldn't tell you. I guess I don't know that. So I guess we might have a loophole.
Maybe it's set after.
Does he exist in Icewind Dale 2, a video game that exists? No.
Oh.
Does he exist in Baldur's Gate 2, which is in the same universe and comes out the same year as this? No. What are we doing? What has happened? Why are we bothering? Who is this character? Why are we pretending that he matters when he doesn't?
Yeah, that's definitely. For me, the bigger kicker is we fight him, and then correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't he say something like, "You beat me, but I'm gonna win anyways"?
Basically,
It's like, you beat me, but still gonna.
I'll find a way to return.
Open.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Well, he says
like,
that.
Well, great.
He says that part after Evard, the guy who didn't exist the whole game, closes the portal, and he's like, he's only forestalled the inevitable. I still know how to open the portal. I just need to do it a second time. And then you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll kill you.
Right. That's what. Yeah. When he runs in, though, Evard.
Yeah.
If not for, I mean, I still yelled, "Who?" But
yeah,
if
from
not
the rafters, it's some guy.
If not for him, the game making us talk to him to get in here, he was like, I'm here. I'm a character. I've always been important. You just didn't know it." Who are you?
Who are you? Did we talk?
Because talking to characters so far up to the end of the entire game, talking to characters has only served to, like, check mark, move on to the next quest, tell me who to kill. We haven't bonded with anybody. We haven't. I certainly didn't learn this fucker's name.
And they also do a thing.
And ends the game.
They also do a thing where they're like, "Hey, you remember the shopkeeper from the beginning of the game? He was in on it the whole time. I know he didn't exist for the entire game. These two characters you met in the first hour of a 50-hour game and then didn't see until the 50th hour of a 50-hour game. They were the two most important characters in this game. Did you know that? That's crazy how they just did not exist."
The shopkeeper in the first town that was kind of a dick to you.
He was kind of rude. Turns out,
literally, shout out, that's literally a Pro ZD skit.
100%. Hey, it's Johnson Smith. Remember me
it's
from
the guy,
the store.
remember?
Yeah, it's Johnson Smith.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah. And they're like, remember, he's the villain. And he's, to your point, one of the worst fights in the game. And then it's like, oh, cool. I get the payoff of killing this guy who I don't know. Great. Yay.
Payoff. As if you don't have to fight tooth and nail because the fight's actually broken.
Yeah. Yeah. Did yours, when you say yours was broken, did it just not ever remove the other guys?
No, they immediately kept respawning every time. Every time you like hit one, he would respawn. Every time you would hit the right guy, it would just spawn another one. Like, it just,
yeah.
I looked it up, and I'm not the only person that
dealt
with this.
Yeah.
It's just it wouldn't stop. So it's just this trial and error of like 30 minutes of like,
Yeah.
please die, please, and he just
Is this the time? Is this the time it's gonna work? And the answer was no.
no.
Man, what else do I have to say? Oh, hey, how did the evil crystal shit register for you? Did you know what that was?
What evil crystal shit?
You didn't even, okay, so you weren't reading the last bit. You were done by then, which is fair.
Oh, yeah, sure, of course.
So you remember the part you collect all the badges and then you go up the
Yeah,
stairs
I remember the badges.
and then there's the guy.
Wait, you know what? Pause for a second, because
Pause.
let's talk about the badges. Because you get to a point, and there's a stairway that you need 6 badges to get to. This is chapter 6 of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and you get 4 of the badges around the big ass dungeon, and you're like, okay, I've got 4 badges. Where are the other 2 badges? They're in chapters 4 and 5. Dickhead, go back.
Yeah. One of those I had happened to get by happenstance. You had to warn me about the other one because it's the stupidest shit in the world. So in the frozen aquarium that I loved, there's these slaves
Mm-hmm.
that you rescue from ice salamanders, which
That's
are basically just reskinned Naga, but whatever.
Yes.
Or Yuan Ti, whatever. They leave. And when they leave a book behind that lets you repair a bridge. But it doesn't spawn until you leave and come back, and then you go to where the guy was standing and he has dropped a bridge repair book. I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to know to do that.
You know what's so funny about that? Imagine someone's telling you this like on the playground at school, right?
Yeah.
You're a little 4th grader or something. They're like, did you know when you save those people, they leave behind this book, and if you take the book, you can take it to the bridge, and the book lets you repair the bridge because you understand engineering now, because that's how books work.
Mm-hmm.
And then you cross the bridge, and then this whole thing you're thinking like, oh, this is leading to I can fight a big giant and then get this super good weapon that's like hidden off to the side in this
No.
like unreachable area. No, it's a mandatory thing you
Yeah.
need to progress the game.
It's one of
And
the
it's
6
just
Dragon
hidden
Balls. You need to open the spiral
in
staircase.
corner with no explanation.
It's absolutely ridiculous. That dungeon also kind of sucks. And it's also the second time that they mention oral in it, because at one point there's like some guys just like in a side cavern and they're like, we were waiting for you to come here. And it's like, I didn't think I was going to make it here. So that's crazy that you chose here to attack me in, but sure. Man, I don't know. But yeah, okay. So you get all the badges and some of them are a real pain in the ass to get. Like that one. And also the one from the wizard guy who teleports around and casts, Cloud Kill 100 times.
The one you essentially have to beat twice?
Yeah. Well, did you know you can turn his golems against him? Because I didn't find that out until afterwards. But if you do shit in a different order, you can. I think it's in the palace where there's that lady who's getting beat by her husband. In there's a book of like creating golems, not controlling golems. So I don't know how you would know that it's, but if you pick up that book and then start the conversation with that guy, with a person who has high enough intelligence, then they can say a keyword that'll turn the golems against him.
How do you even begin to put that all together?
You simply get lucky. There's no fucking shot. Or you look up a guide.
But the person who wrote the guide has to know.
Hopefully it's a person who made the game then, because I don't know how you're figuring it out.
Sure, maybe. Yeah, the first half of the game punishes you for daring to play it, and the second half of the game punishes you for just wanting to get it over with.
Yeah. Jeez. Oh, geez, oh my. But yeah, so you finally do it. You go up the stairs.
Crystals. Yeah, crystals.
You go up the stairs. You talk to the guy who is the main villain of the game, despite not mattering for the entire game. And also not being responsible for the natural disaster that you started the game trying to solve. He's like, hey, I'm evil because I found the crystal of evil, Kren Shinabon.
You open a Cinnabon? What?
That's what I said, and I said that in the chat, and you didn't respond to it, and now I understand why, because you didn't read the text.
Because I stopped reading. I was just started clicking forward as fast as possible.
So Kren Shinabon is a character from lore of Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
It is one of the main villains of the Drizzt books.
Oh, okay.
It's a semi-sentient evil crystal that makes people want to conquer, basically. It makes people want to build up armies and conquer shit.
All right.
So basically our president has Kren Shinabon.
Oh, it was all build up to a topical political joke.
We gotta take Venezuela. Chris Shinenbon done told me I gotta do it.
Hey, that was a Joe Biden impression. Don't think I didn't recognize that.
Red. We gotta take Greenland. There's enough ice there for Gren Shinenbon to properly root himself and create the aforementioned crystal tower that a legendary drow will come from the Underdark to destroy.
Red Cinnabon, I eat one every morning. Extra frosting.
Extra frosting. If this means anything to you, at one point in the books, Crin Shinabon is possessed by friend of the show, Jarlaxle.
Hey, that does mean something to me. Shout out Jarlaxle.
Jarlaxle is, I don't know if he's like from the books, but he's a main character in some of the later ones.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Goat. Another Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer Crin Shinabon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like some random references to him throughout the game, to Drist and other characters from that. And I'm just like, cool. Like, are most people going to recognize this? I don't know, but I feel like the people who are playing this in 2000 must be people who are like really deep in the shit, so maybe. But like people today, they're not going to know. They're going to see the word Crin Shinabon and be like, he's evil because of a crystal?
That makes sense.
Yeah, all right.
I'm willing to buy it, yeah.
Sure.
Don't fuck with crystals.
So that one didn't hit for you. I didn't think it would, but I wanted to know, like, was that even a name that you had heard before?
Oh, no. Didn't recognize that one.
No, it's a stupid fucking name. It's a stupid name. I think I'm kind of spent. I got some trivia for you, and then I'm ready to review it.
Let's cook this turkey.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about with this game beforehand?
I'm trying to think of more positive things to say. The art is really nice.
Art's
and
really
I know that just repeating that, I know that just repeating that is like, wow, he's struggling. I need to, if you like Icewind Dale and you've somehow listened to this far, you have a great sense of humor, and I appreciate you.
Leave a comment and tell us which one of us you hate more. It's me.
But also, it's going to be Daniel, because I'm about to say, I do understand. I totally get how someone, especially in 2000, who's like a big, massive D&D nerd, who just trying to get in deep in the lore as much as possible. I can understand how this could totally be your jam. Because, hey, who doesn't want to play D&D, but then all their friends are busy or not interested? This is a single-player D&D experience. And if you want to throw yourself into that, I totally get it. And there's a world that you can lose yourself in here. I just, in the year 2026, this didn't grab me. I thought, again, slamming the penis in the car door. That's what this game was to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that does make me sad, because I love D&D, and I wish that I could have gotten more out of this. And it definitely gets points for what it is, for its attempt, for it trying, but it's not going to get enough points to go high on the board, because I did not have a fun time playing this.
No. It feels like the game didn't want me to have a fun time playing it, because it was so difficult. Yeah. And not even difficult in like I'm going to get creative and find a way around it sort of way. It's just like, in a lot of cases, it just feels like there's a rote way to do these things, and I didn't have the party member requisite to do that thing. And it's like, okay, cool, great. I don't know, it's a real pain in the ass. And then also, and we didn't talk about this, there's a couple moments you don't get like options, like speech options or whatever, to like make different choices. There's a bit where it's early on, where you're going to the temple where the gem that you needed to get originally was from. It's already been stolen by the snake people, because again, it's another dungeon that you're going to crawl through to find out that you've wasted your time there. There's like 6 of those. And you walk in and the people assume that you are evil, that you are from the same group that just came in and took the gem already. And there's no way to tell them, no, I'm not, and to not kill all of the innocent people in this temple. There's no way to do that. And I think that's absolutely bullshit. I think that sucks ass.
There were a bunch of instances I felt where it's just like, I could not have to fight this guy with a simple conversation, and then you get in a conversation with multiple NPCs, and they are dead set on fighting you.
They're just gonna fight you. And here's the thing: having DM'd the Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden thing, as far as we got, that's also kind of true in that book. Maybe it's an Icewind Dale thing. I don't know. But you know the feeling in this game where you go places and they're like, this is the wrong place, you wasted your time here. That's in that book, like written in that book. that you're going to go around asking questions trying to find a thing, and specifically it says they don't know anything. They cannot help you because they give you this information and then they're like, it's not going to matter for 4 chapters. You just got to put that in the back of your brain and do other busy work until you get to the requisite level to do the rest of the book.
Well, that sucks.
It's very stupid. It's very stupid. And it's probably why we didn't finish it. But man, anyway, here's the trivia.
Oh, please. Yeah.
Some of this we already kind of talked about, but we'll see. So this game was made in the Infinity Engine, which is an engine that was owned by and made by BioWare at the time. BioWare are the team that made Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Obsidian, Black Isle, made Icewind Dale 1 and 2, and Planescape Torment. So, and those are the 5 games that have ever been made in this engine, with the exception of the remastered version that we played.
Okay.
They're the only ones. It is a very specific and for some reason beloved AD&D 2nd edition engine. People swear up and down that this is great. Maybe, but they do specifically say the good one's Baldur's Gate 2. So maybe that will change our mind.
I would hope so. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 2 is coming. That was also this year, the year 2000. We will be playing it. We will be directly comparing it to this.
Yeah, 100%.
And God, I hope that's better.
Everyone says it is. It's got to be, right? Right?
I've heard. I don't remember if it was you that said this or if I read this somewhere, that Baldur's Gate 2 is more story driven.
Yes.
And I don't know about character driven, but it's less combat focused than this is.
The companions that you get in Baldur's Gate 2 are characters.
Okay, good.
They're not people that you made up in character creation. You make your character and then you get friends.
It's not the cast of Fresh Prince.
Right. Well,
okay.
Maybe. This game has a weirdly high level of cool voice actors. Unfortunately, a lot of them are in the Heart of Winter expansion that we didn't play.
Well, here's a peek behind the curtain. I started playing it and didn't finish it.
Couldn't be bothered because we enjoyed the game so little. There's a character in it called Wilfdane. He's the leader of the barbarians that are mentioned in the base game but never shown. Yeah. He's voiced by Ron Perlman, which is cool. He's sort of a Obsidian mainstay because he also was a voice in Fallout 1 and 2. And
so I mentioned Jim Cummings earlier. He's also in Fallout 1 and 2. He voiced the Master. In the first one.
He also maybe more famously voices Pete from Mickey Mouse and such, and
that's true.
Winnie the Pooh.
And Winnie the Pooh, yeah.
Those are his, I think, bigger names. But yeah, one of the protagonist voices for this game, which I believe we could have potentially played with, but I didn't notice it, is voiced by Mark Hamill.
No, that's not one of the voices that I was constantly hearing over and over again.
I wouldn't think. I feel like if I had picked it, I would have noticed it. It's male protagonist 3, but that is Mark Hamill. He was added in Hearts of Winter, but I think because we played the complete edition or whatever, it would just be in there.
It was
I might be wrong, but who knows. And then Hjolder, who's the guy who you talked to right at the beginning, he's played by Barry Dennen, who doesn't do anything, but he is Dean Domino in New Vegas, so that's kind of cool.
Very blue jeans.
Very blue jeans. In the base game, yes, Arendelle and Hrothgar are voiced by Jim Cummings, who we already talked about. And Ixanamai, the snake bitch, is Tara Strong, which we already talked about.
Yep.
She's Timmy Turner and Raven from Teen Titans, for anyone who doesn't know. Mm-hmm. She's voiced 100,000 characters.
You know who she is.
You know. And then the main villain, Belhifet, he's voiced by John Cassier, whose only other voice talent of note is sort of a big one for the time. He's the Crypt Keeper.
Hey!
So that's kind of cool.
That's cool. That is actually cool.
In the original, here's another thing that's really cool. In the original version of the game, the Heart of Winter expansion made the game harder.
Oh, good.
The base game. It removed some drops from the game, item drops, that they said, quote, made it too easy. Here are some of the items they removed that were too OP.
What the fuck is Black Isle Studios' problem? What is your problem?
Here are some of them. You haven't heard the half of it yet. Here are some of the items that they removed because they were too OP. A sword that would occasionally, if you got lucky, cause a stun effect on your opponent.
Oh, yeah?
A potion.
Yeah, real gift of the gods. Go on.
A potion that would give you a temporary +1 to your constitution.
Oh, heaven forbid.
A ring that would give you +1 to strength if you wore it.
Well, that's basically cheating.
That's
Take that out.
how could you possibly have something like that? This one maybe a little bit. There was a longbow that let you shoot 4 times in one round. Maybe, maybe.
Why are we not allowed to be cool? Why are we not allowed to be cool in this video game?
Because fuck us. This game, as we've talked about, was made by Black Isle, who would later become Obsidian, one of my favorite studios. I regret to say, one of the main people who made this is also one of my favorite video game developers, Josh Sawyer, who most people will know as having been the lead on Fallout New Vegas, one of my favorite games of all time.
Yep.
He's in charge. He did like all of the design work, all of the writing, like not all of it. Obviously, there was a team, but like he is the most responsible person for how good that game is.
Yeah, he's a righteous dude,
and he was a real asshole in the year 2000. This was the first game he worked on.
Basically, fuck you, Josh.
The things that he specifically worked on, get this, are Cresselac's Tomb, which is the one that has the skeleton guy at the end, where he's like, "I'm not doing anything. Could you go kill that priest lady so she doesn't kill me?" She did Lower Dorn's Deep, which is the end of the game before you go to Frozen East Haven, which that part was actually like kind of cool. That was fine.
Sure.
And then he also did Fuck Me, Dragon's Eye.
Dickhead.
Which he did say in a very George Lucas sort of way.
Maybe I went a little too far in a couple places.
He has in the future said, yeah, that part kind of sucked. So he knows at least he has grown as a human being.
Right.
But God,
someone sat him down and made him play it.
Here's what
he was like, "Oh."
Here's what he said though, like 10 years ago in an interview.
Okay.
Quote, I threw everything I knew at it, which I think is one of the reasons why Icewind Dale and Icewind Dale 2 have a reputation for being pretty hard. I designed all that stuff to be played by super aggressive min-maxers. Most players are min-maxers. No, they're not. But it was really pushing it. So that was a lot of fun.
Evil man.
Most players are min-maxers, sir.
No.
I don't even know if that would have been true at the time, but it's definitely not true now.
Maybe if you're like a 28-year-old D&D player playing like computer game D&D stuff, maybe you're a min-maxer. Mm-hmm. Maybe. But we are 26 years later. Gaming can be far more casual, and he obviously knows that now.
Yeah, although when the enhanced edition came out, the one that we played, which came out I think in like 2020, maybe 2021,
something like that.
He said that he didn't like it much because it added things from Baldur's Gate that made it, quote, too easy.
Come on, dog.
Come on, sir.
Come on, dog.
But here's something nice to end it on. We may not necessarily be able to do Icewind Dale 2 when that comes up, because there's not an enhanced edition for it, because they lost the files.
Whoa.
They at least some years ago were asking online, the studio that did this enhanced edition was asking online to see if other people had files of it for some reason.
I've heard this.
They just lost the files. That's a thing that happened.
Well, I mean, surely somebody does have them though, right?
You would hope so. But who?
In the name of game preservation, I would hope so. In the name of having to play it, you know what? I'm not going to finish that sentence.
I don't know. It's weird though. The reason I think it's missing is because, so when I say Black Isle became Obsidian, it's not like a 1-to-1, like they just changed the name. The studio closed down and then they reopened with most of the same people.
Yeah.
So like, I get it, but I'm also a little bit like, how did you get the files for the rest of it? Were they not on the same thing? Where'd you get this shit?
Espionage. Corporate espionage.
Gamer
espionage.
But Skyler, that's Icewind Dale. Boy, did we have a hoot-hollering good time with this game. How are you reviewing this on our patented review scale?
All right, so for those who know and for those who don't, the score is 1 through 10, but we can do 0.5 in there if we want. I'm not feeling it's an 8, which is great.
Nope.
I'm not feeling it's a 7, which is good.
Nope.
I'm not even feeling it's a 6, which is okay.
That's unfortunate.
5 is mediocre.
Right.
And 4 is bad. And so I need to definitively declare if I think this is a bad game. Which is tricky for me. Because parts of me do think, even though, again, didn't have any fun, I can see why people dig it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hang out with those people. Ha, just kidding. If you're listening, just kidding. But I can see
Come to my house. I live at.
I can see why it's up some people's alley. The min-maxers, that's exactly who it's for, right? I am not that, but I have here, because under each score,
Mm-hmm.
great. I have, as an example, not example, but like a feeling that I feel when I think a game is great is I love that game.
Mm-hmm.
A good game is passable, perhaps flawed but fun, right? That's all part of our notes? We have that all written down somewhere.
Yeah, good would be. I believe it's like, yeah, that's a good game. Yeah, like I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It was fun. That's where I fall on the good game.
So if I was leaning mediocre, what I have written for that is I didn't much care for it, but it accomplished what it set out to be. That is technically accurate. But under bad, I have a game that is not fun to play, irritating or otherwise stupid. That is also accurate.
Yeah,
So I think I'm landing at a 4.5.
I don't even disagree. I think that that's just about right. I I was battling back and forth between 4 and 5 for a while, and I do think I do land on 5. So I think I'm gonna drop it at like right at mediocre,
Mm-hmm.
because I have to come to terms with the fact that a lot of the things I hate about this game are because it's a D&D second edition game. And so like
Yeah.
it's accurate to what they were trying to do. It's just that the thing that they were trying to do sucks and is not fun.
Sure.
So for that reason, I'm willing to bump it up to that 5, to that mediocre game. This
That
is
makes
not a
sense.
game I would recommend for anyone to play. I don't think
no.
it's fun. I think it is in
No.
desperate need of a ground up remake. Remake this with like a 5th edition D&D game model. Add some story to it, maybe some side quests that are of note, instead of just I got some squirrels for this ghost at the top of a tower. Like
Yeah.
something, add some shit. Make the story make sense. Introduce these have the characters that matter at the end actually matter throughout the rest of the game. Little changes like that. You could make this a really good game. You could. And I see the bones of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not here. This is not that game.
Mm-mm.
Did it do what they wanted it to do? Yes.
Yes.
Do people like it? Also, yes. There's a fan base
Yeah.
for this game, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in 2026, I would not subject a person to this game. I would never in my life be like, you know what, you should play Icewind Dale.
That's the equivalent of telling your girlfriend you have to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
It's like you're not going to tell your girlfriend that. And if you are going to say that, buddy, you don't have a girlfriend.
So I'm at a 5, you're at a 4.5, so that puts us at a 4.75 aggregate score for Icewind Dale. And I think that's entirely justifiable. This game is not it is simply not a fun game to play. It's a well-made, awful game to play.
Yeah. A 4.75 puts it third from the bottom above Medieval 2 and Daikatana.
And I do like it
so-
more than those two, I think.
So at least it beat those. But here's the thing. Here's the sad thing
Yeah.
that I would not have guessed before playing this. It's below Siphon Filter 2.
Siphon Filter 2 was short, at least.
That's a goddamn good point.
So
Beat that bitch in like 3 days.
we were done. We got in, we got out, we didn't have fun, but we were done. This lingers. Anyway, if you want to tell us how much you love Icewind Dale and how stupid we are for not liking it, first of all, you're completely justified. Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Leave your comments about all of that below on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you're listening to this. Yes, you can leave comments on Spotify. People just don't. They just don't. You can follow the show on Twitter at @RSR_POD. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Daniel J. McG.
You could follow me on Blue Sky at Skyler8bit. And just real quick, want to apologize for all you Icewind Dale fans that we did in fact rate this lower than Putt Putt Joins the Circus.
Putt Putt Joins the Circus was a very good realization of what it was trying to be.
It was a better game.
It was a better game, and I'm sorry that you're finding out like this, but it is. Anyway, until next time, everybody, play more games.
Play more games.
The game's just starting, the world's so bright. Jump right in, everything feels right. Let's play, take a trip back in time where pixels and memories